Good morning once again, and welcome back to Breakfast with Bev. As you can see behind me, the Tucson is back in its normal parking space. I went out, got some oil, topped it off. Wasn't as bad as I was worrying it was going to be. It lost roughly half of its oil, but I was worried it was going to be all the way down at zero. It's been about 4 months since I last did an oil change, so if it's burning, 2.5 quarts every 4 months, that's not so bad. I just need to remember to keep washing it. The fun thing about the Tucson is, or just owning a cheap vehicle in general, is that it's kind of a low pressure way to get introduced to car maintenance. I screwed up when I was putting the oil back in. I put a little too much, which is not good, but then you can just drain it back out the bottom, and now I know about how to kind of gauge how far above the dipstick it should be, all that kind of stuff. I kind of know how to deal with that now because I made that mistake. This guy's got an old Silverado that he's painted all camo, done leaf prints on it. That's pretty cool. Well, my phone died, so the audio's not good anymore. Let me figure something out. Essential phone charger. Come on. What I've been meaning to do is find a longer 3.5mm cable and run the shotgun mic from that camera, just hold it over here. But I don't know where my longer mic cable went. I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to my stuff. I never fully moved out of the basement, really. I still have a lot of stuff down there. Not too good organization-wise. How long does it take for a freaking phone to turn back on? Okay, yeah, it saved the old audio. It's Friday. It's the weekend. But it's interesting these days, and I've heard other people say this too, that so when we were in school, especially high school and when we were under our parents' house and stuff, the weekdays mattered so much more. The weekends were a huge deal. But now ever since we're we're on our own time, and a lot of people are just working normal hourly jobs or whatever job you have. A lot of jobs aren't Monday to Friday anymore. The weekend kind of doesn't feel as much of a thing these days. I know what the number of the day is more than I know what the day of the week it is. Because, events and deadlines and trips, it's oh, we're going here on the 17th. Oh, you have to have this done by the 14th. Because I said in high school, everything was oh, this is due next Thursday. This is due Tuesday. We're going to the whatever on Saturday. Everything went from weekday-based to calendar-based. And obviously not everybody's jobs are like that, but a lot of people's are. Another beautiful day out. I think we might have visitors this weekend. If anybody pulls through tonight, maybe we'll grill some burgers on the grill. I've been itching to do that again. I love grilling burgers. Burgers are my favorite candy. It's almost a candy because they taste so freaking good, and you get the satisfaction of making it and everything, and there's steps to the process, and the innate human connection to fire, cooking things over fire is so cool. I love it. Man, I want to have another bonfire before it gets too cold out. Cook some dogs over the fire, maybe some s'mores. It's an interesting feeling I have today because the past couple days I've had a load of stuff to do. I'm pretty stressed with a lot of things hanging over my head. Just deadlines and fixing the car, and a lot of stuff came up. And today I'm just what am I gonna do today? It's nice, but at the same time it's not, because there's a lot of things that I know I could be doing. I'm obsessive over creative projects, but I'm also I have too many of them going on to responsibly be able to go into obsessive mode about them. Just because I have a lot of cool ideas that I could do doesn't mean that I can do all of them, which sucks to admit. But then it's when I was in college, I had a lot of ideas and was doing a lot of sketching and planning for these different projects. Hold on, Chase is calling me. Okay, I don't know if the camera just stopped there or what. Okay, so what I was saying is I felt like college was my ideas phase. I was coming up with stuff, and once I was out of college, I had more time, I had more money, I would execute on all this stuff. But when that actually happened, now I had new ideas, and I want to do the new ideas instead of the 2-year-old college ideas, And so what I've come to the realization of recently is that there's never going to be a shortage of ideas to execute on, and this is just for me, I don't know, manic creative type, but there's never going to be a shortage of ideas to work on. The shortage is, you know, time and money. And so if you have an idea, the only way it's going to happen is if you do it now. Because if you put it on the back burner and you say, oh, I'll do that later when I'm more prepared, you're going to have a better idea in the future that you're going to want to do then. So if you have a cool idea, if you put it on the back burner, it's probably not going to happen. You have to do it, you know, in the short term, like within that year, you know. If you save something for 2 years, it's just, it's done. And that's obviously not always true, because I came up with Copilot in 2018 and did most of the work years and years later, and I'm still working on it, because that's like kind of a giant project, more giant than the original idea was for it. So this is not a rule with no exceptions, but generally it's like, ooh, if I had a cool video idea of like sneaker restoration that I was going to do in 2019, I'm not going to do that now, you know? I learned a lot of good skills from like experimenting with it and trying to do it that apply to different things, but the idea itself, if you don't finish it when you have it, don't lie to yourself and say, oh, I'll finish this later, because there's too many things to do. Anyhow, this one's going to be a doozy to edit, because I started recording, then the phone died, then the camera died, then Chase called, so there's a lot of stops and starts and stops and starts. That's a good one. This might be like 10 minutes again, we'll see. I'm not drinking out of a mug today, I'm drinking out of the Ford V8 pint glass. That's Breakfast with Bev. I will see you tomorrow.